Today we cover the subject of using pointers to tackle structures. We've got two structures here: struct dates, struct student record. Struct dates have been type def as dt, so hence we don't need to write struct dates. We can write dt and then that's it. And the struct student records str. So type def struct student record str, so the student record objects can actually be created using str only. We do not need to write struct student record anymore. Now we have also, you must look at the structure first. You can notice here that the first one is day, second one is month, third one is year. These two are bit fields, 6 bits and 5 bits respectively, day and month. As you can imagine, we do not need anything more than this. We do not think anything more than this for our purposes. So that is why we have got these two. In student record, there is character name 31. This is the character array for the name. Obviously, it can be used as a string or a separate array of or an array of separate characters not taken together, as we have already seen. So this is a very simple thing. Then you've got an unsigned int roll 7. Roll number will not be negative, so it will be unsigned. And for 70 people maximum, you need 7. These 7 can hold up to 127. 0 to 127 is the range for 7 bits. 2 to the power of 7 is 128, and 128 minus 1. Why? Because 0 has to be accommodated, so one value goes for the 0. So the highest value that you can accommodate is 127, which is 2 to the power of 7 minus 1, which is 128 minus 1. So you can easily accommodate 70 roll numbers within these number of bits when you are expressing this in binary. So hence this is roll 7. Roll is roll is 7 bits. Then there is float CGPA, and then there is this is float CGPA here, and then there is a date of birth object here, DOB, okay, which is this date object. So each DOB object in each student record will have a day, then a month, then a year. First, let me show you what I've done, then in a little bit of explanations will follow. This is a structure this is a structure array, as you've seen, struct ECE3. I've not given the size because I've actually initialized the array as such with a character array, then the roll number. The character array is the name, then the roll number, then the CGPA, as also the date of birth. See, just like an array, just like an inner array, the date of birth, which is a structure, that is also initialized with a pair of curly braces. This one, I hope by now you have understood exactly what is happening here. Each of the curly braces represents one. If it was a double dimensional array, it was a row. Because it is a structure, it represents the inner structure here and the inner array there. So then Ram, then 168, then 9.1, then 14.3 2003. Sam is 14.5 2003, and Jadu is roll number 180 9.1, and I am not initializing the date of birth. I am leaving the date of birth as blank. Okay. Now date of birth. Now what we do is we do star strp, str star strp. This is the pointer, as you can imagine. Obviously this is the pointer notation. As you can imagine, you can actually put a blank there as well. This is the pointer notation. Just like your int star, float star, etc., you have strp star. Obviously it will not be an integer pointer or a float pointer, because this pointer is not actually pointing towards any integer. this actually is not pointing towards any integer. This is actually not pointing towards any float. This is pointing towards a structure. In case of array pointer, you have seen that if it is an integer array, we have shown integer pointer. In case of a string, we will show a char pointer. If it's a float, we show a float pointer, because the type of the array is actually the type of the primitive types. This array here is of type str. This EC3 array is of type str. What is this? Is see str. This is the type. And what is the str type? The str type refers to the student record, struct student record. So this is str. So basically, if it's an str array, the pointer will be an str pointer. Simple. If it's an integer array, it's an integer pointer. So if it's an str array, it's an str pointer. So the str pointer is as follows. So this str star strp. So the str pointer strp. Strp is the name of the pointer, and that is ECE3. That is equal to ECE3. Why ECE3? See, I could have given here. This is the same thing. If I wrote ampersand ECE3 0, okay, it will be the same thing as this. So the same as strp equals to ampersand ECE3 the name has to be properly written, and the name, as you know, name is always case sensitive. The same as strp. So if I had written something like this, str star strp equals this, same as this. Why is it the same as this? Very simple. You will note that obviously the array. Now what is the array? Rather, the array name. What is the array name? The array name is actually the reference to the starting address. The array name is referring to the starting address all the time. It is actually a reference to the starting address. So hence we have this. Alright, that this EC3 strp equals to EC3 means strp now has a starting address of the array EC3. This is the same as, see, ampersand EC3 0 is the EC3 0 is the starting address. Ampersand EC3 0 is the address of the starting element, which is nothing but what is referred to by EC3. So there we are. Now this is how we note. So we could have written EC3. So this is strp plus 2. You have seen, as in the case of an integer array or a float array, we use the counter just like this. We use the counter just like this. Similarly here, this is the same thing. strp2 refers to EC3 0. So here this refers to EC3 0. Sorry, I beg your pardon. EC3 not 0. I beg your pardon. It's EC3 2. It refers to EC3 2. This is Jadu. Jadu's date of birth we have not given. Okay. And this strp And this arrow is given by what? Arrow is actually given like this. Arrow is given like this dash and then the greater than sign. This is the arrow. Okay, you cannot use it here. You can use it with this. Okay. And this is then that dot DOB dot day. This is what it is equivalent to. So this is equivalent to this. This refers to ec3.dob.day. See how I have done it. strp plus 2 arrow dob.day equals to 23. strp plus 3 sorry, this has been overwritten. strp plus 2 dob dot month equals to 2. Now this actually the form that is this arrow, it actually means the dot and the star operator. What is it like? It is like this. This arrow and this are equivalent. So basically this is equivalent to, so this is equivalent to, if you had a bracket, there are brackets, strp plus 2. You will note that the 3 was wrongly put in there. I think when I was doing EC3 it got overwritten. There is nothing called EC3 because it's only a 3-member array. So strp plus 3 is not there. It will create problems. It will create errors and problems and stuff. So this is equivalent to this. This is equals to this. The same thing here. This one is equivalent to this. Actually, this second one here, star within brackets strp, whole within brackets, then dot dob. This is the actual form. This becomes very tedious sometimes. So that is exactly why, for the sake of easier use by the programmer, this notation is also allowed. So date of birth of ECE2 is being now assigned. So strp plus 2 arrow dob, the day of that means dot day equals to 23. Then star strp2 star within brackets strp2 whole within brackets dot dob, once again the same thing, which refers to ec2 dot dob dot month is equal to 12. Now we are trying to put in the year. Now see how we can use the scanf in this case. Now you see normally, now see what I've written here, strp plus 2 arrow dob dot year, the whole within brackets, and outside that an ampersand. And you will say, sir, why is there an ampersand when we are using pointers? Why is there an ampersand in scanf? Well, the thing is, we did not need ampersand for this, but we have located the dob of this and then the year of that. For that we need to put the address of this, because what does SPSC, you have to remember this, what does strp plus 2 mean? It refers to an object. The object's name, just like an array name, is the reference to its starting position. So immediately afterwards, so referring to its starting position. So immediately afterwards, you are advancing by 2 more elements from the start. strp refers to the starting position. Then 2 more elements, then we are referring to the starting position of what? Not of the array, but of the third element inside the array of structures. Just like an array, a structure also has the same sort of idea, that the name refers to its starting position. Then that is the address that is being used. Well, in that address, it is not a particular element that we are referring to, so we cannot put a value there. We have to put it in here. Okay. So that is why ampersand of that. And just to see that we are okay, I'm just printing out the first roll number here, and then look at this. In count equals to 0, count less than 3, count plus plus. I'm using this notation alternatively so that you can understand. This is the same as this, is the same as this, which is the same as this, which is the same as this, notation wise. So I'm printing the name, roll number, CGP, etc. So when I run it, I have to enter an year. So let's say 2003. Okay, see, 46, that's a EC30. So roll. Okay, it is, I think it's a matter with counter, we have to check that. Oh yes, of course, that is the point. I am not using count here, I beg your pardon. Count. Now run it. Please enter in here 2003. Enter there. The different ones. Roll number 46, CGPA 9.1. Now I've given 9.1 CGPA. Roll number 40, roll number 52, 412 2003, 412 2003, 12 23, 12 2003. Everyone is born in 12 2003, 412, 414 and 23. There's a difference. See the difference in this. Okay. So this is how it is working. So the problem was I was using strp count plus 2 here. I had copied and pasted, that is why, but it should be count rather than expect. So it goes from 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there. In count equal to 0, count less than 3, count plus plus. And if flushing the std out, because there's so much being printed, so I'm flushing the std out, and then I'm proceeding as follows. So you've seen the result once again. Okay, if I run it, there. Sam, roll 46, CGPA 9.1, 4/12/2003, date of birth. Ram, roll number 40, CGPA 9.1, 14/12/2003. Jadu, roll number 52, CGPA 9.1, 23/12/2003. I'll give a further explanation of this in the next video.